A couple days ago, I had did a commentary talking about basically the dangers of us using the POC, or the person of color terminology, or us getting lumped in with that particular terminology. But when I was doing the video, I forgot to talk about one thing, but in a way, I'm kind of glad that I didn't put that in there so I could make a separate commentary about it. And that's that word minority. That is another terminology that is thrown around when it comes to various groups of people who are considered to be not only non-white, but also marginalized as a group. So in my opinion, I would say that minority definitely supersedes person of color because it incorporates the POC terminology as well as other what you would consider marginalized groups. Now, when you think of minority, like I said, you'll most commonly think of non-white, but it actually extends past just you not being of European descent. It also talks about whatever kind of group you belong to, and sometimes even gender will play a role as well. So you got to really think about that. When they say minority, they're talking, or they try to lump us in there with, us, Arabs, Asians, Native Americans, Hispanic or Latino, and any other group that's non-white. But also under the minority umbrella, they also lump in there white women, the Alphabet Academy, and various other groups that is not defined by not only its gender, but also not by its social construct either. And that's actually, very dangerous, especially, what really got me was the day that I found out that they threw palm-colored women into the classification of a minority group. And I said, how are they a minority? And they're like the only group that's considered to be of European descent that would fall under. So it's almost like they're teeter-tottering on both sides. They're on the minority side because of their gender, but they're on the majority side because of their race. And I said that can't work. It's either or. And they, in my opinion, just take them off of the quote unquote minority and just throw them right back to the majority. And this should have been tackled when the 2016 election occurred. And what I mean is when they did the exit polls, they say over 50%, but I think it was even over 60% of white women voted for 45, which was unheard of. That was a very, very high number. They were almost neck and neck with white men when it came to that voting. Like they were number two. They were the second highest voting bloc to vote for 45 in 2016. And I have a feeling that it won't be that much of a difference going into 2020 with this, with him running to be reelected. I have a feeling it's probably going to be the same. It could be some differences, but I don't think it really will be. So to throw them into the minority group when they would under a social construct be labeled under the majority group, that's very disingenuous. Like that always kind of struck me as odd. And I don't know if any of you picked up on that, but that caught me off guard. Then, of course, you throw in the groups such as the Alphabet Academy, who is a very, very, very small group. But with the way that they move, you would think that their numbers are way bigger than what they are. And that's on a establishment scale as far as the U.S., probably the whole continent of North America, and especially on a global scale. But I don't know if y'all recently heard, but in the 2020 Olympics, they are questioning if they're going to allow people in the T class who identify as a woman who was born biologically a man to compete in women's sports. I saw a video about it yesterday. I think I was gonna do a separate video, but I said I'll talk about it right here. I said they are literally spreading their privilege as far and wide as they possibly can. Especially if they're palm colored. Because it was one I saw. So this person is going to have palm colored privilege. One, because they are of their social construct. Two, this person was biologically born a man. And three, he's masquerading himself to be a woman who is going on both sides of being the majority and the minority. And then weaseling their way into women's sports. So that's like conquering 4 things in one body that this person is doing. And that person who I'm talking about is not the only one. Look at how many of the people in the Alphabet Academy under the T class have infiltrated, especially a lot of women's sports. That's why we were telling women that this was going to backfire on you. When they were able to get the chance to compete in women's sports, they're going to beat you, because even though they feel like a woman, they're not biologically a woman. They don't have the women's parts. They don't care. They had to get artificial estrogen put into their body to feel like a woman. But biologically, they're still a man. That testosterone is still there. That muscle endurance is still built, differently, to the point where they can compete even better. Ask them why they're not going out there and competing against men after having this quote unquote transition. And I don't know. And the thing is, I don't know if they'll even give you the answer that you're looking for, the answer that is needed. But they literally have transformed themselves. The key part in transform is trans, because that's what they're saying, to compete against you. And we've said this for a while. I said, y'all keep amening this, and y'all keep allowing this. They're going to infiltrate your stuff, and then they're going to make it where they're going to probably put laws on the books to say that you have to allow them in. And if you don't, 1 or 2 things are going to happen. 1, they're going to sue the organization, or 2, they're going to try to find a way to shut it down altogether. I won't be surprised if people who are part of the T class will start trying to infiltrate the WNBA. And I won't be surprised if, with enough force and enough bullying, because that's what it is, enough bullying, that they'll actually be able to do it. And then, of course, if you want to talk about social construct under minority, you have the Asian, who they consider to be the model minority. They gave them a pristine title under being a minority. Basically, they can literally fluctuate and move however they want. And I think it's probably because a lot of the deals and trades, I'm not going to really get all into the technical things because I'm not well versed in it. So I'm just going off of what I know. And I think that's why they throw them into the model minority position. If y'all remember, there was a video where I was talking about how in the NYPD, they said that they only wanted people to go after black and brown people, quote unquote. And if you were an Asian cop in that department, then and you can meet your quota, then all you had to do was go out with somebody who was black or brown and get the quota through them. Because they said under that little system that they had in the department, the people that were protected were the white cops and the Asian ones. Now, mind you, palm-colored people are already the majority. Asians are not. They're a minority. But they are classified under the model minority, meaning they, in their eyes, reign supreme at the top of the heap labeled the minority class. And, of course, when they throw black people in the minority, we're dead last. We're all the way at the bottom. We're the ones holding this shit up. But that POC and that minority label are 2 labels that I want for us to get away from. And I get tired of seeing some of our own throw ourselves into this minority or this person of color category. Like, why would you want to be there? Because you already know there's not going to be any benefit for you there. You know this. So why even bother? That's why I be that's one of the reasons why I be going in on Gabrielle Union the way that I do, because she loves to throw around that POC thing and women empowerment. We can tell this woman would never put herself first, or people that identify as her first. She always got to say women of color, a person of color, a minority. Like that's the tip that she's on. And she's not the only one. A lot of those out in Hollywood are on the same tip. Why? Well, I was about to say why, I don't know. But the truth of the matter is, I think I know why. But that's really all I had to say about this. Just don't classify yourself as the minority. I know many of you already don't do it, and kudos to those who do not. But y'all let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you in the next one.